Yo, we back again for another day of the illustrious panel. I'm up here with some good guys, some bad guys, but today we're gonna get into something a little bit later in the show. Steve, you want to throw that on the screen? You guys see the title of the show. You see it. Um, we're gonna go over the 30 franchises in the league, and we're gonna rank them from 1 to 30 based on who has the best history, most accolades, who's the most iconic, basically who's the richest franchise out there. So y'all be prepared for this. Everybody up here has their own agendas to push. We got some a couple Cali guys up top. Well, it's a Cali guy below too, but he's just Southern California. Chill. I don't know what direction you gonna go with, but it's agendas that have to be pushed up here. But what's up?
Sound like
How we
it.
feeling about this?
I'm feeling it, yo. I'm digging the richest to the poorest. I already know who it is, though, and I know who the wackest is. And one of the wackest is see the dude over here on my right, or actually it's your left. The dude on the end with the dreads, the big fella, the glass cleaner. his crew might be down at the bottom as the wackest. Get them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
That's why they gotta light the beam. It's so dark in the basement.
Oh man,
that wasn't necessary. I hope you go first, Fluent. I hope you do.
Yeah, so fellas, I wanted to start from the top, talking about Jaylen Brown Supermax. Now we talked about it yesterday. Fluent, you weren't here, so I would like to hear how you feel about that. But ultimately, what I wanted to talk again about his Supermax was, what does this imply for the future? Because he's obviously just set a new standard, a new precedent in terms of setting the richest contract in the NBA ever. So now, obviously, it's going to be dudes that come and get that same thing, and dudes that even further exceed that. So what does this mean for next year's free agency and some of the upcoming free agents and things of that nature?
Well, if I don't think anyone has him top 10, right? I don't disagree. Tell me if I'm wrong. So if a non-top 10 player in the NBA is getting $300 million, just imagine what the top 10 are going to ask for. With the new CBA in place, what you've just done is you paid $300 million for a right hand, because we know he's got koozies left. And each team, it's a good thing. We're going to have parity in the NBA because they're going to be paying these guys, their stars, so much money. They won't be able to have a second star, a third star, a deep bench. So teams are going to have to make a decision. Do we want to be a deep team with no stars, or a one, maybe two-star team with a depleted role players? So setting that market he's either created great parity among the league, or he's going to be the downfall of the Celtics. Because I don't think the Celtics are going to be able to pay. Could you imagine if he's making $350, $4? There's no money left for anybody else. So that's the fear that I have, is that the downside is going to be that. The good side might be we're going to go back to that one star and Batman Robin kind of team with a bunch of role players, which is going to create parity in the league. I think we're already starting to get there anyways, but this just pushed us over the top, I think.
Tone, being the businessman that he is, I would expect more from Tone than I'm getting right now. And he knows how the NBA is able to circumvent the salary cap. There's a reason why we have bird rights. So you could go over the salary cap. Just so you know, this contract with Jaylen Brown doesn't kick in until the 24-25 season, right? So that's 2 more years from now, which means the salary cap is going to go up. With the salary cap going up, with your bird rights, you are allowed to extend somebody by 30% up to 35% of what the salary cap is. That's because we want you to retain your star players. But that's not relegated to one guy. That's why you have bird rights. So you don't just get bird rights with one guy. You get bird rights with Jason Tatum. You get bird rights with all your other better players. Now, with the salary cap going up and you being able to have these bird rights, you can keep your players and you can pay them what you want to pay them. So the idea that Jaylen Brown is making all of this money. Well, first of all, when you talk about championship contending teams, what championship contending team number 2 isn't getting paid? 100% confident every championship contending team, their number 2 is getting paid. That's number 1. Number 2, Jaylen Brown isn't just a good player. He's an all-NBA performer. He's an all-star. This is different than what was going on with Mike Conley when he made $150 million, which was the richest contract in the league. He wasn't an all-league performer. He wasn't an all-NBA performer. At least Jaylen Brown is. And he's 26 years old. 26 years old. Now, that left hand, I don't expect him to be Kyrie Irving or, him have an extra crispy handle. What it can do, though, is it can get tighter. And that the only way that could get tighter is him dumbing it down. Like, you don't have to do as much with the ball. Dumb down your handle where you can only do 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, and slow yourself down. Because, Ron, I think it's in his head, to be honest with you. It's not like he ain't working on his handle. He's working on it. But as far as him getting paid, I don't really think this is much. I think this is a good thing, and I think this is going to help teams retain their star players. You're not going to see guys like Kawhi Leonard leaving $40-50 million on the table to go back home. I don't think you're going to see that anymore. I think you're going to see these guys, especially with the kind of money that's being made, you're going to see these guys stand with their teams more.
Yo,
Chilton. But you're talking about the stars. I'm not rogging Jaylen Brown for getting paid. Good for him. But what happens is, and the new salary cap, once you go over, of course, it's not a hard cap. It's a soft cap, and you're able to rights with all these other things. But with the new CBA in place, you said it, $3, not $1, $3 for every dollar you go over the cap.
$3.50, Tone.
There you go. You're not allowed to sign those guys in the buyout market once you're into that apron, which is where they're going to be. Once his thing kicks in, they'll be in that second apron. So buyout market, you won't be able to get those guys. Mid-level exceptions, there's going to be an $8 million difference between what another team can give and what the Boston Celtics can give. So what I'm saying is the team's depth is going to be hurt. Bad thing. What I'm saying is it's going to affect teams, and it's going to create more parity because unless you're keeping all your guys, how many times you said when the second guy gets paid on championship teams? How many of those teams continually win? That's an exception for getting paid. Things start to change. And so that's where, and you said the salary cap's going up. Is it? Because ESPN is now in a situation where they paid, and ABC, I guess, is their parent company, paid $2.4 billion at the beginning of the 2000s for the rights to the. Well, they're laying off everybody. They're firing everybody because they're having money issues. When we say money issues, you know what I mean. Are they going to go to $3-4 billion for the rights, which is what pushes that salary cap up? I don't know that that's going to happen. They might have to get smaller stuff to do in the 80s, where they had 4 or 5 different companies getting regional games or something. Because do you see ESPN paying $4 billion for NBA rights after what they just did with all the cuts? So that's going to drive some of that salary cap growth. And I think teams, although today are spending, are going to start tightening their belts a little bit, especially if the salary cap does. Like the expectation that it's going to go up exponentially and that's going to help. Like that's a big expectation. So I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm saying you have to be cautious because if the situation is Boston a team that wants to go deep into the over the salary cap. I'm not saying they're not, but again, how are they going to pay these other guys when you don't have a mid-level? When it's what is the veteran minimum? Is it like $2 million or something like that? Yes. And someone else can give them $8 to $10 million.
Yo, Fluent. That's your mic is your mic is really choppy right now, and it's going like in and out. I don't know if it's something on your end. I don't know if it's your connection. I don't know if it's your phone or something.
I'll check it. I'll be back. Hold on.
All right, cool. Pirate, I would like to hear how you feel about Jaylen Brown and just free agency as a whole now that kind of a new standard's been set.
I mean, I don't like it. Just in general, I don't. If I ran a team, I wouldn't want to be paying someone the highest salary unless I thought they were in the tier of the best players in the league. Because, I mean, Chill's got a point with the bird rights. It's like you can retain your players, but with the luxury tax, I'm not like a master capologist, but I know that's going to it's going to have a big ding on your ability to sustain depth year after year after year. I mean, I've even seen it with, I'm a Warriors fan. And once you start signing a lot of guys to a lot of money, I mean, you really have to go after the dregs, or you have to draft really well. But I mean, that's kind of like rolling the dice too. So like, I'm not extreme one way or the other. I definitely don't think it's a great move, but I also don't think it's like an instant, tanking move. It could work out. I know they're going to have to pay Tatum too. So, I mean, once you add Tatum and Brown, that's not going to leave you much left. It's not the way I would build a team. If I were going to build a team, I would only pay that kind of money to someone who I considered an absolutely top tier player. And then I would try to build depth. I think depth is really important. I think you can have 1, 2, even 3 great players. And if you don't have depth, it's not the kind of team that I would want to build. So, I mean, the jury's out for me. I'm leaning towards I don't like it. Maybe it'll work, but when I just see it, I'm not a big
I think a lot of you guys are thinking about Jaylen Brown as the player and not looking at what the Boston Celtics are continuing to build, right? So let's take Jaylen Brown off the table and think about I got a young star, and I also got another young star who's under contract for 2 more years because Jason Tatum deal is not up for 2 more seasons after that, right? They just extended Kristaps Porzingis. So that's the window right now with Robert Williams, who they got on the cheap. By the way, they got Robert Williams on the cheap. They end up losing Grant Williams. They end up losing Marcus Smart. I still think that's going to be a problem with losing Marcus Smart. But in terms of money, they got Robert Williams on the cheap. They extended Kristaps Porzingis. They already signed Jaylen Brown, who they retained his bird rights. They got Jason Tatum under contract for 2 more years. So that's not something that they really need to concern themselves with. And this contract with Jaylen Brown doesn't kick in to the 24-25 season. That's in 2 seasons. So at that point, the salary cap is going to go up again. How do I know that? Because the salary cap at this season coming in, I believe the salary cap is going to be $136 million. Just 2 years ago, it was at 104. Either 104 or 110. So the salary cap goes up. Now, Tone mentioned about regional coverage. Well, all of these regional stations and such, you're still going to have TNT. You're still going to have ESPN. You're still going to have these and NBA TV. All of these networks are still going to kick in, and this thing is going to work from that aspect. Now, I'm thinking about Jaylen Brown as a huge cog in this system. I'm not thinking about Jaylen Brown just as the player. Even though I think Jaylen Brown is a top 20 player, I'm looking at it from the aspect of them continuing to build the championship unit.
I'm looking.
I agree with you on that, Chill. Go ahead, Ox. You got it.
I think them signing Jaylen shows that they believe they're championship worthy within the next couple seasons. So I think that just shows that they're going all in on their team. Especially with the extension of Kristaps a couple weeks ago too. So, but Chitchat, you mentioned his handle not being extra crispy. Speaking of extra crispy, does this mean that like all the trade rumors are off the table, out the door? Like, or does them signing him mean that they still might be looking to make a move, what does that mean?
Big Ox, when you put $300 million and you put a dude's name on the contract, you just put the ring on the finger. I ain't going nowhere. We
really?
married. Yeah, we married. We ain't doing that.
I feel like, look, I think they did
mansion, honeymoon, all my cars, shopping sprees.
You got the security code to the safe. You got everything.
And the rose petals on the floor.
I believe they did it.
All of that.
I believe they did it as a sign of good faith, but at the same time, this makes him more desirable because now you've got him. For a team that thinks he's going to be a number 1, like a star on a team, now he's locked up long term. I don't think they want to trade him, but I think other are desirable now because at least he's locked in because those contracts, the number's going to go up. $50 million sounds crazy today. It might look pretty good in 5 years.
Tone, just so you know, the last 2 years of his deal is 64 and 69 million. I just want to put that on your mind. Hold on.
Would you rather have?
Let me make sure I get my ring size because I think that we're official. I ain't going nowhere.
Would you rather have? Would you rather have 31, 32-year-old Jaylen Brown at that, or 50-year-old Damian Lillard though? So they locked a young guy up early. That's all I'm saying. It won't look as bad as we think. Maybe
no, it won't.
If he keeps
You're right.
Up.
That part I can get with. Yes,
I don't think it's bad.
I don't need
Like,
it.
I don't think it's bad
No.
right now. So I definitely won't think it's bad in a couple seasons.
I mean, and then also you got to look at Boston's track record. I do think, and I believe that Jaylen Brown has earned this based on not his individual success, but more so their team success. Look what they've done since they've had Jaylen Brown. Eastern Conference Finals after Eastern Conference Finals after Eastern Conference Finals. And then, yes, they do have one finals appearance, but you also got to understand. So you'll probably be like, Ron, they only made the finals once and they didn't win it. But look how young these guys are. They've showed you their promise. They've showed you that they have the potential to get there. And even like some people were picking the Celtics to win. So they do have the talent to win it. It's just a matter of them putting everything together. But Ox, you brought up a point, and I want to ask everybody up here. And Chill kind of alluded to this too. So you signed him to this big contract, right? Which means you're essentially buying in to him winning you guys a championship. So does a championship make this worth it? Is it championship or bust now? And do you guys think in this championship window that they do get a ring?
Either way, regardless if they're signing them to this contract or not, the Celtics are a championship or bust time. It's the next next 3 years they need a ring. Like they need that hardware, or it's a failure. With all due respect, it's a failure.
And Big Ox, we leaving out one of the most important parts of this. Big Ox, if I could pay you $300 million, what you think I'm making?
Right.
I mean, this isn't a situation where I'm paying you $300 million and I'm making 350. No, if I'm paying you $300 million, I'm probably making $3 billion. I'm not going to pay you that kind of bread and I'm making pennies on the dial. No, I'm paying you that because I'm going to see a return on my investment in years to come. Right. So add that to the fact of what Ron was just talking about in terms of winning a championship. Well, we've seen plenty of parity up until this point. We've had 5 different NBA champions. The Celtics have to, at some point, considering what's been going on, they've been right on the doorstep. They have to be next. They have to be. So in the next 3 years, they have to win the championship. Now, that's not to say that's not to say real quick, Tone. It's not to say that that's not going to happen. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but at some point, you got to believe that this has to happen. You have to.
Right.
I was just gonna say that they're paying him 30 because they're making 3 or 300 because he's making $3 billion. It reminds me of a great line from very well-known cheapskate Jerry Reinsdorf. Right? He was asked, "How can you afford? Is Michael Jordan worth 30 billion?" Well, yeah, he's making me 30 billion.
There you go. Everybody everybody was bugging out when Jay signed that deal for 1 year for $34 million. I'm like, what you think Jerry Reinsdorf making? If he could pay Jay $34 million in a year, what do you think he's making? That's why he was sick when Jordan decided to retire. Yo, we got a contract. You screwing up the money. What you doing, yo?
The church's money, right? Fucking up the church's money.
You straight screwing it up, Big Ox.
Yeah, but with that being said, I think they got a 3. They need to win in 3 years, but that's not. I wouldn't consider it pressure though. The Celtics aren't necessarily under pressure, just based on they've been getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, getting to the finals. Like they still, if you ask me, the Sixers are still under much more pressure than Boston is to win. I'm even going to throw Miami on that list. Miami's in has just as much pressure on them as Boston does as far as East Coast teams. Milwaukee got a ring a couple seasons ago, so they're kind of like, all right, we got one, but they're still like Giannis in particular. He still needs to go get another ring too. So Boston has a 3-year window, but I wouldn't say it's like immense pressure that they're under right now. And on top of that, their guys are still really young. Like what? JT is 25.
He just turned 25 in March. Yes, that's
damn. That's crazy. And JB's 26.
Yeah, he's 26.
Yeah, but they got time.
Hey, that's scary.
They got a lot of time.
Even if
they got a lot of time.
Even if that's true, well, that's the thing, though, Pirate. I mean, do they? We don't really know how much time they have because anything can happen. That's number one.
No, you're right. You're right.
Number 2, what we can't leave out is you can be competitive. Right? You can be competitive, but at some point, you got to win. We have to win this thing. We can't just keep getting here and then we get to the door and get the door slammed in our face. At some point, we got to win this thing. We have to. Now, don't get me wrong. When winning an NBA championship, you need a lot of things to go your way. But we can't as a unit because it's obvious that we have the talent. And it's obvious that we have the talent, we have the depth, we have the coach, we have all of that stuff. So with that being said, we can't just get here and keep getting the door slammed in our face. At some point, yo, we got to win this thing. We have to.
But chill, you know what I equate this to though? And I like to do this with everybody too. Obviously, when somebody comes and they set a standard, you always go back to that.
Right.
So I like to compare everything to Jordan and even Bron. In what year did Jordan win his first ring? In what year did Bron win his first ring? Even more so, and I'm not necessarily trying to compare Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to Mike and Pippen, but that's a 2 and a 3. This is a 2 and a 3. They got together fairly young. These guys got together fairly young. So at what age was Mike and Pippen when they won their first ring, and how many years did they have to go through the ringer until they finally got theirs in 1990?
Wow.
So
man, winning an NBA championship is hard.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So Jordan was in year 7.
You know?
Scottie was in year 4. Yep. Olajuwon was in year 6.
And that's typically been the pattern in the NBA. You know, I mean, usually the NBA is about you got your championship teams, and then you got to knock on the door a lot before you actually break through. So I don't know. I mean, I look at team success a little differently. Like I think very rarely is a team championship or bust, just because championships are hard, man. There are like 30 teams in the league, you know. So it's like it's great if you can win them, but I still value. I think a lot of, you know, like talked about it before. I'm a big fan of I think the Utah Jazz had a great run. You know, I mean, they lost to Jordan twice. They never got a ring. That was a great team. That was a team of their era. And I don't know. So I don't think we can just purely judge success by winning a ring. And also, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are no Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. You know, I'm not going to put the same expectations on them as like, I think Jordan's teams work. That's like a championship or bust team. When I look at a team before the season even starts, and it's like, this is an all-time great team. They really should be a tier above the rest of the league. But I don't see Boston as that, you know. But I mean, I see they're in the mix.
At that moment in time, though. And I mean, you guys are a little older, so you were more so around during that time. Before the 1990 season, was everybody saying championship or bust for the Bulls? Were you guys expecting them to win that year? Or was it when they finally broke through that you were like, okay, this is one of those teams?
Yeah, I mean,
and even then, you might not have thought that until they won their second or third one. Then you was like, okay, this is an all-time team now.
Yeah, I'm not considering the first three-peat championship or bust. I think the second three-peat, once they got Rodman, that team had extremely high expectations.
I'm considering the first three-peat team championship or bust because they were on their way. Because they had basically done what the Detroit Pistons did. But the Detroit Pistons would
knocking on the door.
They couldn't get past the Celtics. And then they finally did it. And then they finally won. And then the Bulls, they couldn't get past. Okay, next year they're going to do it. So in 89, when they lose in the East Finals, it's like, all right, wait till 1990. Okay, these dudes is coming back next year. And then they lose in Game 7. And then the next year, we got to get by these dudes, yo. We have to beat them. It was definitely, this is the year that they're going to do it. This is the year that the Bulls are going to do it. Because if they didn't do it in 91, that would have been 4 straight years that they beat them. 4 straight years that they beat them in the playoffs. So at that point, the consensus on Jordan at that point was he was just a dude who scored a bunch of points. He was a great defender, but you can't score a bunch of points and win the NBA championship. You got to get off the basketball. You got to do other things in terms of being a better offensive player. Once he did that, once he was able to do that, and Scottie Pippen was able to turn into the player that we all thought that he could turn into, then it was sky's the limit after that. But it wasn't just we hope they can win it. No, they were knocking on the door. And the idea, especially when I was around, the idea was we winning it this year. We got to win it this year. We have to win it this year. We got to get by the Pistons. Plus, the Pistons were the bad guys. They were the bad guys. There's a reason why they called them the bad boys. So we got to get these dudes. We have to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but like, I think you remember, like the first three-peat, the public thought was kind of like man, when are you guys gonna win it? You know, but the second three-peat, that was like these guys are gonna win it. Like I remember watching the '72 season from basically the first game of the season all the way through. It's like we all expected them to win 72 games. You know. I mean, I remember like that was a great season to be a basketball fan, honestly, because I mean that was just like all Bulls all the time. They were broadcasting every game, and everybody was expecting a win, and they won. You know, so I mean that's the kind of team that I'm saying we're like, this is championship or bust. Like, how the hell are you guys not going to win? You know,
Of course,
and I just don't think.
Of course, that's fair. That is fair because that 96 team. I don't equate, Ron. I don't equate the 96 team to what the Celtics are doing today. But remember that 96 team. Jordan and Pippen was the only two dudes on that crew that was on the first three-peat team. That whole crew got flipped. Nobody else was on that crew. So when they come back in 96 and then in the 95-96 season with Dennis Rodman being that meat and potatoes guy that they didn't have, the idea was them winning the NBA championship. Did I think that they were going to win 72 games? No, I didn't think that they were going to be that good. No, I did not think that. But I did think that they were going to win the NBA championship. I feel like with the Boston Celtics, with this crew that they had together, even though they lost Marcus Smart, even though they lost Grant Williams, I still think that this team in the Eastern Conference with the Milwaukee Bucks, I still think that they're the class of that. I still think they're the class of the Eastern Conference. And I think that they right there in terms of winning the NBA championship. I don't think that they're that far away.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the East looks like this year, or just see how the dynamic works out with Philly, Boston, still got Miami and whatever they decide to do, and then obviously Milwaukee too. So we'll see. And then there's going to be some other teams lurking over there as well. You know, the East, that they got some talent over there. But what I do want to do is, so in light of this whole Jaylen Brown,
I think Miami's done.
Thank you, Potter. That's what I was about to get to.
Every year we think Miami's done.
Nah, but Ron, if they were done last year. They were done last year.
Yeah,
what happened?
Like, Giannis broke his back.
I mean,
Tyler Hero wasn't there either.
Well, look. So I don't mean no disrespect when I say this. You know how I feel about the Heat. I like the Heat. I've been on the Heat side more often than not. I think they took advantage like they were supposed to. Obviously, if somebody gets hurt on the other team, it's not their fault. I'm not putting an asterisk next to anything. It's not like they're supposed to lay down for the Bucks just because their star got hurt. And by no means am I saying that. All I'm saying is, if they don't make that move for Dame, or if they don't do something, if Pat Riley don't get out of that rocking chair and do something, the Heat are not going to do it again this year, bro. That shit is over. I will also say the Celtics are running through the East next season, bro. This season coming up, the Celtics are running through the East. You can get Philadelphia out your mind. The only pushback the Celtics will have is from Milwaukee and possibly the Cavaliers. Other than that, bro, everything.
That's what I was forgetting. Was Cleveland.
All that's out of here, bro.
So you think the Celtics straight running the East next season?
They're slaughtering the East.
All right, you better hope Jaylen Brown don't get that money in.
I like
Look,
it.
We've seen a couple examples. We've seen a Zion example. You get that money and you just overeat. You overindulge. We see the James Harden example.
He's smarter than that.
You get that money and you in establishment throwing more than you want to.
I don't see Jaylen Brown going like that. Once again, I don't know the young fella. I'm proud of the young brother for getting paid, but he don't seem like the type. He might buy Taylor Rook something nice, but
he might.
Other than that,
hey, if he had his mind right, he would. But fellas, I want to look forward to the 2024 free agency class, and I'm gonna mention a couple guys, and I want you guys to tell me, well, will they go higher or lower in terms of Jaylen Brown's contract? But before we do that, I got a couple super chats that I want to go ahead and read off. Starting with V Rose. V Rose said, "Y'all heard about the soccer player Mbappe $776 million a year contract? We heard this.
Yeah, those guys get paid
for 1 year. For 1 year. Yo, you gotta remember too, them soccer players. That's for one season, by the way. That's not like a 5 or 6 year.
What did you say? 776
million, not 76. Yeah, $750 million for one season.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, Pirate.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you gotta remember.
I mean,
that's that Saudi money. That's where it's from. That's that Saudi Arabian money. So with that being said,
that's almost $1 billion.
Yes. And you got to remember too, like how big a deal soccer is. Like these dudes play in 150, 200,000 seat arenas, and they sold out. Like it ain't a seat in the house. If you look at where these dudes play, this is this is a huge deal. I am never going to be. And again, to pay a dude $700 million, $7.75 billion, like I just told Ox, what you think I'm making? If I can pay you that kind of bread, that's probably peanuts to them. He's an employee.
Hey, what I'm trying to figure out is what's the name of that league over there, the soccer league?
Well, it's the UEFA Cup. I forgot. It's the Concave. It's
that one
also?
Specifically though. Whatever it is, we need to go ahead and learn the dynamic of them leagues. We need to learn them players. We need to learn them rules, and we need to start covering that. You know, I can see players' choice. You know. Saudi Arabia, Players' Choice, Middle East, whatever it could be, we could do that. We could get Mars on board. Mars can push us in the right direction.
There's no way you turning down $750 million for one season. You're not turning that down. If they tell you to go play in China, you're going to play in China for $750 million.
Yeah. So in the chat, they saying it's the Saudi Pro League. Yeah, I'm tapping in.
I'm seeing what's going on over here. What y'all doing?
I got to.
Saudi Pro League.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow soccer too much. Is that a thing?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Saudi.
Mm-hmm. I think them the same people. Those are the same people who with the golf tournament live. Those are those people that were able to do that.
Did you guys also see or hear the tweets from? It was a couple players that tweeted it. Braun and one more player. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. And so this kind of opened Pandora's box for me when I seen them tweet about this contract that they just dished out for these guys. And hold on, just bear with me a second. I'm pulling it up right now. All right, so I know Braun had tweeted, and it was one more player. And they were essentially just alluding to like, yo, if that's the case, if they offer us that, what are we gonna do?
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't got it saved here. But it was, I know Brian had tweeted like, damn, he's making that type of money. If basically he was like, y'all call me. So what eventually like this, they got into golf, they've got into soccer. Obviously, the next elephant in the room is basketball. Do you guys see there being any type of merger or buyout or any way that, let's say they come and offer, it don't even got to be the top dogs. If they come and offer a guy like, let's say it's Jaylen Brown, for instance, they offer Jaylen Brown or Devin Booker $500 million. Do you see them going over there?
It would be similar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For $500 million, yes.
It would be very. Why you think Doc ended up in the ABA? Why you think Artis Gilmore ended up in the ABA? That's what this is. That's what it essentially.
That's a good point.
It would end up being exactly what it was in the 70s with the ABA, where these guys ended up going to play for the Kentucky Colonels, right, or the Virginia Squires. Now, when you got that kind of bread, you're shelling at that kind of bread. You got to keep that thing going, and if you can't keep it going, you're gonna end up folding. But then there's also teams that end up merging. So I could see this being like an ABA situation where you end up getting a couple of guys that'll go play, that'll never see that kind of money in their life. And they'll go play in China or something like that, or not necessarily China, or just another country, and get on board with that. And then it end up being now the standard for the NBA where, yo, we got to start paying these dudes. Otherwise, we're going to lose all our great talent.
Well, the deal with Rick Barry, right? Yeah. I mean, Rick Barry came in to the league, rookie of the year. His second year, he averages 35. He's basically the best player in the league. And so the ABA comes up and offers him the richest contract in the world and says they'll give him 20 or 25% stake in the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so that then the NBA sued Rick Barry, said, no, you can't break your contract. And then Rick Barry, in his prime, coming off 35 a game, he had to sit out an entire year before he could go join the ABA. But I mean, the ABA was probably the most competitive alternative league in American history. I mean, for the bulk of the ABA, they were basically on par with the NBA. I mean, there was slightly less towards the beginning, but the middle and the end, they had just as much talent as the NBA.
So
That's why
I
I
found
think
the tweets, y'all.
Recognize the ABA now.
So first off, Giannis tweeted and said, "Al Halal, you can take me." He said, "I look like Kylian Mbappe," and then he tweeted a picture of his face. Then LeBron tweeted, and I'm assuming these tweets are all in a joking manner, but I think it's an edge of seriousness to it too. LeBron tweeted and he said, "Me headed to Saudi when they called Rich Paul and Mav Carter for that 1 year deal." And then he tweeted a GIF of basically somebody running. And then Draymond Green also tweeted and said, "They got basketball leagues too, right?" Question mark.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. And Draymond will go over there in a minute.
They ain't finna pay Draymond that
Definitely
money.
paying Draymond big ox.
And then Draymond said, "I don't think the ink on my contract is dried up yet."
Shit, you better hurry up and dry it, because that contract don't go through. He ain't getting paid nowhere.
All right, y'all. Brandon Tate with a super chat. He said, "I heard Dame and Jeremy Grant talk to Jaylen Brown into joining them in Portland, but the Blazers front office wouldn't pull the trigger on a trade."
There's no way they were getting Jaylen Brown.
How are they going to do that? Right.
How are they going to do with that 3 pick? The number 3 pick? Yeah, right.
You
don't think Jaylen Brown?
You don't think Scoot, Anthony Simons? Because it wouldn't just be Scoot. It would be Scoot, Anthony Simons, and let's say Shane Sharp.
It have to be Damian Lillard.
Okay.
If it's not a trade for Damian Lillard, Boston is laughing Portland out of there. They're like, don't ever disrespect us like this again. And just be happy Danny Ainge isn't in that front office. You call Danny Ainge with that. Because he not just gonna hang up the phone. He gonna whoop you. Now he gonna be like, "All right, since you tried to do that, watch this. I got something for you." Y'all wasn't even on my radar.
You want to play that game? You want to play that game with me? Okay, I got you.
Then the Celtics end up with Jeremy Grant and all types of shit for nothing. Absolutely nothing. For like a future first round, it's crazy. It'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Lonnie Williams said, "Fluent. Your mic is remixing every few sentences."
It was kind of tricky. It was a little. It was a little bit.
Kobe Montana with the super chat said, "How many titles or bust teams have y'all seen?"
Title or bust teams?
Warriors,
The
Bulls. This past war, they go.
Well,
definitely
KD,
when
right?
KD joined.
Mm-hmm.
That was title or bust.
Got to put the Lakers.
The Bulls,
in there. Early 2000s
the Lakers. Yeah, the Lakers.
Toronto.
I wouldn't consider Toronto.
2019 Toronto?
Toronto? No.
Yes.
Think so, Chill?
Title or bust?
The number one seed. The number one seed in the Eastern Conference.
Now, are we talking before the? When I think title or bust, I'm thinking like before the season even starts.
Yes.
Well, let's get the definition clear first before we get into this. Are we talking about a team that we know is going to win the championship?
Yeah.
Before the season starts, if they don't win it,
unbeatable.
But before the season starts.
But are we talking about teams like maybe these Celtics, where it's like, yo, if you guys don't win the championship, you guys kind of failed, but you guys are beatable. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
it's a combination of those two, but I think it's more the latter. I think it's more the latter than it is the former, because when you're talking about a team that, for example, the Toronto Raptors, we're talking about a team that the year before won 59 games. I think they had the second best record in the NBA, and then they get Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
When you jury got Kawhi Leonard, the plan was we winning it this year. We're not getting him because we want an opportunity. No, we getting him. If we don't win it, this was a failure. Title or bust.
I agree with that. So by this definition, yes. I would put Toronto in there too.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Bron came back home, man. Bron came back home from winning in Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, they did all that with the first picks, traded Andrew Wiggins and all that. They had to win.
Yes. 100%.
People forget how, before the Warriors actually did what they did in 2015, there were huge expectations on the Cavs. I mean, yeah, people were looking at the Cavs, LeBron, Kyrie, Love. I mean, they were overwhelming favorites until the Warriors came out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, I think the Jazz, Pirate, and the reason why I think the Jazz, because the first year when they were always knocking. We talking about the Boston Celtics. The Jazz were always knocking on the door. Don't forget, in 96, 95, 96, they was in the Western Conference Championship. In 94, they were in the Western Conference Championship. In 92, they were in the Western Conference Championship. So they were knocking on the door. So when they get to the Bulls in 97, okay, we're gonna have an opportunity to win it. I didn't have them pick to win it, but in 98, this was the year. We're doing it. Championship or bust. They had the best record in the league. They had the #1 seed in the West. Karl Malone had just won the league MVP the year before that. Jordan had won the league MVP that year, but that was the year that, we winning it this year. If we don't win it this year, we're probably not going to win it.
Will we consider the Nets 2 and 3 seasons ago and the Suns this year too?
That's why the owner went all in with KG and Paul Pierce. Even though it was goofy, that was the logic. That was the logic.
Right. I'm talking about KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Like they were supposed to win it, or you know what I'm saying. And now, I don't know. Can we consider Philly? Because I mean, the whole process. Maybe not.
I think it's the Nets. I think it's Brooklyn more than it is Philly, because we that might be one of the most ridiculous, if not the most, if you think about the championship expectations. If you think about the Brooklyn Nets, that might be one of the biggest ridiculous failures.
Which one though, Chill? Because now that I think about it, they did it twice. Brooklyn in the last
2 different types of failures.
No, for sure. But Brooklyn in the last, what has it been? 8 years, 10 years? In the last 10 years, they literally have had 2 of the biggest swing and misses, if you ask me, in history, based on what they did.
The second one was
which
bigger.
one are you alluding to? Was it?
Oh, the second one was bigger because there wasn't anybody that knows basketball that really thought with KG, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry that they was winning. Nobody thought that.
KG on half a leg.
Yeah, he was over. KG was over at that point. Big, and Big Ox, you a KG guy, and you knew he was over at that point.
Broke my heart.
Yeah, he was over.
They had De'Aaron Williams too, though. I remember D Will was another one.
And ISO Joe.
Oh, they did have Joe Johnson.
You know what that was, though?
What's that?
What that was? That was the lipstick on the pig. That's ISO Joe and De'Aaron Williams. That was the lipstick on. It was still a pig, but it was dressing it up to make you think that they got on the pig. No, these guys aren't it. Big Ox just said it. I saw KG in 2013. KG was a shell of who he used to be.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce
looked like an old man.
Yeah, he was not what he used to be. With KD was coming off an Achilles injury, and we all know that today Achilles injuries aren't the death sentence that they were 30 years ago. You could come back from that. Kyrie Irving getting together, this was going to solidify KD's career and make him a champion, being able to do it at a high level with him being the man. That was the plan. That's why he went to Brooklyn. He didn't go to Brooklyn and recruit Kyrie Irving to Brooklyn to go, we're going to have an opportunity. No, we are winning it. This is championship or bust. 100% it was. And it might be one of the most ridiculous failures in sports history.
Yo, Chill. Is that like, are there failures being projected on this Suns team now? Keep in mind, it's fairly similar. You got a big three. The supporting cast is iffy. Don't necessarily know about the coach, or it's a new coach. So now what I'm saying is it the fact that KD already failed in that situation why we don't believe that this team will work, or why we don't have high expectations?
If you put out a couple of hits and then all of a sudden you putting out duds, we shouldn't be surprised if you put another dud out. So I'm not looking at this Phoenix team, even though Big Ox, he think that they smoke in the West. I think this album KD about to put out could be double wood instead of double platinum.
Yeah, I'm with Chill.
Double wood?
I think this could be double wood instead of double platinum.
I think KD's at the age where it's fair to question, like, season to season. I mean, guys drop off, I mean, it's fair to expect KD's going to drop off like sometime coming up here, and it might be next year. That's a fair question mark. The depth on that team is a fair question mark.
I personally think KD is already taking steps back. I mean, that just shows how good KD was at his peak. He's already taking steps
Right.
back. But Devin Booker is, I think, still taking steps up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just think
Sure.
I've never been a big fan of these stat teams, these quote unquote super teams, if you want to call it that. I've never really been a fan of it. This team just has a little bit of a different feel where like KD's one of those guys you can plug into most teams and he can fit. I feel the same way about Devin Booker. I feel Devin Booker is one of those guys where you can pretty much put him on any team and he can he can do his thing and fit in here.
Mhm.
I would even go as far, and this is Bradley Beal's first move. He's been with the Wizards all the time, but Bradley Beal is I think he's able to play with other stars too.
Mhm.
So as long as coach can coach and DeAndre Ayton can kind of take a step off of that pedestal, just a half a step back and rebound and play a little defense, bro, I don't see any reason why this Phoenix team cannot at least lose to the Celtics in the finals.
Well,
I feel like in basketball, there's only so many volume scores you can put together before you really start getting diminished returns. You know, there's only one ball, so it's like
Facts.
there's only so many shots that you can take in a game. At some point, you have to be able to do other things too. You know, I mean,
yeah, man, right? That's it exactly. Like your Big Ox, your logic on Devin Booker would work if Bradley Beal wasn't there, because essentially they do the same thing. These two dudes, they basically do the same thing.
I believe that they can share the ball though. I don't think that these are the type of volume scores that are looking at each other across the locker room like, man, I want this. I think these are players, all three of these players, specifically Bradley Beal. I think he's like, bro, I need a championship. I want to win. I definitely don't think Bradley Beal's coming in here like, now I'm better than Devin Booker and KD. You're old now. I think Bradley Beal's coming to play basketball. And so I understand there's only one ball. There's only 48 minutes. 48 minutes is a lot of time, but 48 minutes is a long game. So, you know, I mean, I remember when I first played, first time playing 48-minute games. I'm like, yo, this is way different than those 40 minute, you know, those 20-minute halves. Like, this is crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a lot of basketball to go around. And once again, I think as long as coach can coach and KD's probably not going to be shooting 25 shots a game. You know what I'm saying? Like they can distribute it around.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think KD's been here before, you know, with the Warriors. I think he might look at it like that, like, well, I think he knows how to play with those guys. I think the other thing.
Go deeper than that, Ox, too. Right, quick. Go deeper than that. The Thunder. He played with James Harden and Russ, and even just Russ in general. You guys called Russ one of the most ill-advised stars ever, but he played with Russ. He turned around. He played with obviously Steph, Clay, Draymond. Turned around, played with Kyrie and James, then turned around and played with
a lot of guys.
That's a difference around Kyrie and James. I'd much rather play with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. I would much rather play with Devin and Bradley Beal.
Now, when you're talking about,
he also played on Team USA too as well, in his thrive there too.
Now, KD has never been a volume shooter.
Yeah.
I think KD averages like maybe 20 shots a game for his career. He's never been a volume shooter. And I can appreciate the ego logic, Big Ox. When you're talking about, you know, a guy coming into a locker room, Devin Booker been there the longest. So remember, KD, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, all of y'all coming over here, you know, I was here before all of you dudes. Before any last one of you dudes, I was here. But at the end of the day, my game is still my game. Now, I'm going to have to change some things about my game. But in the end, you know, I'm a shooting guard. That's what I do. And now you want to turn me into something completely different in order for us to win. Not to say that it can't happen. I mean, I watched the Pearl run.
I don't like that.
Not to say that it can't happen, because I did watch Earl the Pearl run with Walt Frazier and end up winning. And it kind of took a step back to what Pearl's game was. But in the end, I'm still who I am. Bradley Beal still is who he is. I'm a shooting guard. I shoot the basketball. I am not a primary distributor. I am not a primary playmaker. I am not that dude. Same thing with Devin Booker. I am a shooting guard. That's what I do. So when you're bringing these two guys together, there's going to be something. I mean, there's going to be a problem with these two dudes in terms of roles getting established. Who's going to be the primary ball handler? Who's going to be the shooter? It's not just going to be you go, I go, you go, I go. No, we're going to have to establish who the guy is.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible that throughout, especially specifically through the regular season, is it possible that they try to kind of stagger the minutes, kind of lower KD's minutes a little bit, kind of ride Devin,
I don't think
let Bradley Beal get a lot of second unit minutes, and just kind of just be content with not going for the 1 seed, be content with the 3, 4, 5 seed, and kind of just rock into the playoffs, and then kind of turn it up a bit once the postseason starts.
I think they should definitely stagger Booker and oh no, sorry, yeah, just definitely stagger Booker and Beal. I think that would be the most productive move, and also math skip ball. Speaking,
yeah.
I think I personally think the best formula would be for Beal to actually end up being like the 4th highest score. I mean, I think they would be most productive if DeAndre Ayton is getting a decent amount of shots and they're at least going inside outside a little bit. I mean, I don't like having 3 like volume perimeter guys because there's just so much you can maximize with that,
Wait a minute though, Pirate.
Unless you're shooting like 40-45% from 3.
Well,
but I don't think they're going to do that.
How is the best way to get continuity with guys? I think the best way to get continuity with guys is to have them together. So we're talking about staggering Devin Booker and Bradley Beal's minutes. Well, how are they going to develop any sort of continuity and chemistry if they only play in a certain amount of minutes? They should be on the floor as much as possible if this thing is going to work.
That's fair. That's fair. I can see it from both ways. I can see it from both ways.
I don't think it's going to work either way.
They're still going to have to play together, but I don't know. But that's one thing I'll love to say, man. Coach got to coach, man. Even in the NBA, coach got to coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
you can't just expect at any level. You can't just expect to roll the ball out on the court unless you got guys like LeBron, J. Kidd, Ray Jean, Chris Paul. Guys that are really going to coach on the floor. You got to coach. So I hope Frank Vogel's up for the task because I'm as y'all know I'm not a huge Kevin Durant fan. I used to be really high on Bradley Beal. I still like him as a player, but for some reason, man, I'm just really high on this super team, and I'm usually not that guy, but I'm here for this one, and I can't wait to see it, man. I really can't.
The biggest thing that I think that hasn't got alluded to in terms of them all playing together. And this is something that I like when you have players like this together, is that all moments in time on the floor or during the game, on the floor, you're going to have a killer. You're going to have somebody that when the offense breaks down or when the going gets rough, we know we can always give this guy the ball and we can count on him to get a bucket. Whether that's Devin Booker out there by himself, KD out there by himself, or Bradley Beal out there by himself. And that's what I like at all times. Usually like when teams like OKC, for instance, when Shea goes to the bench, now we looking around like, how we going to get one? Like we gotta run offense. Everybody has to be unselfish. Everybody got to move without the ball. We got to hope somebody is hot off the bench that day or something like that. And even like the Heat, the Heat got Tyler Hero. But you get when Tyler went out in the playoffs, for instance, when Jimmy's off the court, it's like, what are we about to do now? We looking at the end of the bench like, yo, Jimmy, you ready? You got
Same thing happened in Denver. Same thing happened in Denver when Joker. Same thing happened in Denver when Joker goes to the bench. Same thing happened in Los Angeles when James goes to the bench, right? So when you have that kind of team, you have to have a plan B. You have to. Otherwise, we're not going to go that far. I mean, even though what happened in Denver, they were able to put it together because they got some rotation guys that ended up stepping up. I mean, they got Christian Brown. I'm sorry, Christian Brown. He ended up playing better. Jamal Murray ended up playing a lot better than expected. So when you got guys like that, it can work. But when you got a guy that's that responsible for that much of your offense and you don't have anybody else that's at least competent, and you got questions about what's going on with roles, you're in a lot of trouble. And I think that's what's going on in Phoenix right now.
Yeah, definitely, fellas. We shall see. But I'm going to move forward with these free agents in 2024. And I want you guys to tell me higher or lower.
Higher or lower.
Shout out to Underdog as well. But higher or lower, will they exceed Jaylen Brown's contract in this next free agency, or will it be lower? Now, some guys it's gonna be an obvious no, but
But I mean,
I still want to
how much is Jaylen Brown getting paid per year?
30. It's going to be 52. So the deal is for 5 years. It's 52, 57, I think 61, 61, 62, and 69.
Oh, damn.
So isn't that basically like the most you can get paid?
Yes. That's why it's called the Supermax.
All right, so no one's going to exceed it. Yeah, so no one can exceed it. I mean, that's the most you can get paid.
Is it not going? Because I mean, the trend in the past is
like as the years go on.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because Jaylen Brown's Supermax is different than what Giannis on. His Supermax is more than what Giannis on. Right?
But whoever you're going to name
next year,
yes,
it will be.
Yes, it went up to 136 million.
So yeah, so every year the salaries increase, or the salary cap does increase.
Right. So because the salary cap increases, you may have another guy.
Someone might get paid a little bit more.
Yeah, he might get paid more.
Man, shut up, man.
Oh,
Come shut me up. How about that? How about that?
Shut what I said. You heard what I said, dog.
Shut me up, then.
You heard what I said.
You're telling me to shut up. Come shut me up.
Y'all hear Shrill Town? Y'all hear Shrill Town in here? It's not Grill Town no more. It's Shrill Town.
Oh, man.
Y'all hear Shrill Town?
Ticket you on your way to the airport, bro. We can't wait. We can't
What
wait
you
to
say?
get up with you. I said we can't wait to get up with you this weekend. You on your way to the airport?
What's this
Nah,
weekend?
man, I'm over to the airport, man. Nah, I got business, man. I got too much money I'm making, man.
Oh, this weekend's PC
That
weekend.
bread. Get that bread.
you gonna act
that's
like you
probably
on
why
the-
Mars isn't on the show. He probably
That bread ticket.
it's like a
You hear me,
13-hour
my
flight.
man?
He probably in the air right now.
Do you hear me, Ticket TV? Get that bread, homeboy. You know what time it is.
Yeah, man, people been here fighting and stuff, man. Bro, this is crazy, bro.
Mm.
Fighting where?
Two employees hitting each other with pots and pans, fighting over in the kitchen. Oh, man.
Fighting in the kitchen.
Yeah,
You
dog.
got you had to break it up, or you just let it go.
Nah, I had to go see what was up. I wasn't there because I'm, you know what I'm saying? But I got the call and then I had to go see what was going on. Fire both of their ass, man.
Bye.
Damn.
You firing people for fighting?
Yeah, man, we can't have that.
Bro,
That's not like you.
you got customers in the spot.
I got my chick here. I got the dude. I got the dishwasher and the cook in the back fighting. I don't want to eat here.
Yeah, that's automatic. Yeah, because everybody in the restaurant knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? They all knew that they was fighting back there. Like, it got that bad. When you start slamming pots and pans and breaking stuff, yeah, you gotta go. It's damage back here.
Bro, I just met this chick, man, and we going to lunch. I'm trying to impress her, and we in a restaurant, and these two dudes fighting. I don't want to be in here. No, let's go. And now Ticket like, yo, you see what you're doing? You screwing up business. You gotta go.
Come on, man. And it's gonna get taken out their check too.
On top of that, you ain't getting paid for that too. On top of that. On top of that.
Facts.
So anyway.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna mention these players, and you guys let me know will they get paid more or less than Jaylen Brown over this during this next contract year in 2024. First player is he's four-time champion. He slowed down a bit, but we got Klay Thompson.
No. Mm-mm.
Less.
Mm-mm. He ain't seeing that kind of bread.
He's making
Under.
He's gonna be. I think he's probably gonna make less than he's making now.
Mm.
So it's a no for Klay.
What kind of Pirate? You being a Warrior guy, what kind of contract that is Klay looking at? And when I say contract, I don't need to. Let's take the money off the table. Let's take the money off the table and let's just go years. How many more years you think Klay got at this level?
Well, I think the NBA is funny because, I mean, once you hit a certain level like Klay, it seems like you're virtually guaranteed a 4-year contract at least. So I imagine he'll get a 4-year contract.
So like,
and I think he's getting like 40
million.
Yeah, I see Klay playing 4 more.
Yeah, around there.
That's fair.
25, 30. I think he's making like 40 now. Take it down to 30, 25. But I don't know. We gave Jordan Poole over 30, so I don't know.
All right, fellas.
I don't know why you said it like that. All right, that wasn't a bad move. Y'all just quit on the man too early, and they'll see when somebody else build him up. He can actually grow. He don't got to worry about going to work, getting punched in his eyeballs.
Yeah. I mean, I might be biased because when I watched Jordan Poole had probably one of the worst rookie years that I have ever seen. Like this guy was shooting.
How was a guy at his position to have a good one when you playing behind the guy you playing behind is one of the greatest players ever played basketball? I mean, that's not easy to go.
Yeah, but Steph was hurt.
No, I'm saying, but still, that's shoes. That's the expectation, shoes. See, you're grading him off what you seen from Steph.
No, and I kind of agree. Like, even aside from just Poole's absolute talent, I think it's in a salary cap league. It's really bad to pay that much money to when your star play is Steph Curry. I feel like it's a bad move to then give a bunch of money to a player that's a very similar type player to the guy you're already giving money to. I feel like that's too much redundancy.
But they
you gotta spread the money around.
They wanted to keep it for the future, bro.
Yeah. Just didn't
that's
work
what
out.
they wanted to do. They wanted to keep him for the future, and that's what it was. They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to lose him because they saw what he was capable of. So that's why they paid him that. Like when you pay a guy like that, you've seen something that you like. They're not just paying him because the problem is you playing behind a guy like Steph Curry, man. Playing behind a guy like Steph Curry, bro, it's hard, man. Because if you don't do half of what he does, at least off rip, people gonna criticize you. You're gonna be judged next to him. You understand what I'm saying? So that is the hardest part about playing his position and sort of playing like him.
Well, here was the one other thing I didn't like about
his contract. I think it might be easy. I think it might be easier to play behind a guy like Steph, you know?
No, it's not. No, the pressure. Because everything you do wrong, for example, all the turnovers he had, they magnified them. Well, when Steph had those turnovers, the same Warrior fans didn't kill Steph like that. But they crush young fella for having those turnovers. And Steph had worse turnovers in the NBA Finals.
Right. But check it out. I don't mean like playing like, you know, like when Steph's out, when he's hurt or injured or something. That's when I could see like a lot of pressure being. But when they're together, it's kind of like if you just play good basketball, you know what I'm saying? Don't get in Steph's way and just do your thing, knock down your open jump shots, compete on the defensive end, you know, stuff like that. I would personally think it would be easier to be a backup to Steph. Just, you know, but I understand like if Steph's out and I have to fill his shoes, then it's kind of like, damn, like these are some big shoes to fill, you know. I would think.
But the one other thing was he was a restricted free agent. We didn't have to pay him. You know, I mean, we could have just let him play out the season, see what the market's willing to pay him, and.
Well, you would have lost.
I don't think
you didn't do that for nothing. You didn't want to lose him for nothing. And listen,
which is what would have happened.
I'm gonna say this to Bob in response to Bob.
No, but we could have matched.
With or without,
we could have matched any contract another team offered.
You could have matched any contract.
You didn't want to take it there, especially with the optics of everything that just happened with Mike Tyson over there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You didn't want to take it there, especially with the optics. But I'm gonna say this, man. Like, I disagree with Bob on that, man. I think it's hard to play beside or behind, especially beside because you can't really play your game. Jordan Poole needs the ball like Steph needs the ball. So if I'm playing on the same team as him, especially if we're on the same quarter than most of the times, I'm not going to be able to play my game the way I do when you're out. When Steph is out, dudes give you 27, 28 a game. Those are facts. And they was winning. They had a winning record without Steph. That was like a 30-game sample. That was a good sample size. So he's killing. The problem is that when Steph is there, now, hey man, Steph's still the man. So it ain't gonna be like you're gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Steph gonna just be sitting there taking a back seat. No, you want to take the back seat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now everybody's gonna criticize you even more and not understand that. Look, I need the ball to be able to play the way I play. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not gonna work, man. It's that's bad news right there, man.
That's another thing too, Tick. And I think we have to hold these professional basketball players to a higher standard than that. Like you can't be the guy that's this is how I play. Like you got to play different, bro. You got to be able to adjust. You got to be able to play in different systems.
That's like telling Rudy Gobert after he's been asked to play one way and put in a box. For example, right? Look at Wiseman. Wiseman came in the league playing a different way. He came to the Warriors. You're gonna play this system this way. Well, that's not his game. You drafted the dude to play in a system that he wasn't built to play in. So when you got a team that's built off a system like the Golden State Warriors, You understand what I'm saying? It's different when when a guy who has a certain style of play, which Poole kind of has a certain style of play as Curry, where he needs the ball a lot to be able to be effective. When Curry's in there, he doesn't get the ball a lot like that. So now you're asking him to be an off-ball player, which he hasn't been since he came into the league. He hadn't been really off-ball. No, I'm saying I agree with you. Over time, you should be able to change, adjust, and improve your game. But the problem is that with the Golden State Warriors, they want him to play that way. The problem is that you're not going to be able to get all those guys to do that on the same team at the same time. It's going to have to be sacrificed.
Yeah, no, I could dig that. I could dig that. I just think these guys got to be a little, just a little bit more versatile. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Go ahead, Chip.
And I also think Pirate leaving out the fact that that Warriors team. When you talk about Jordan Poole's rookie year, the year he showed up, they had just came off of being in the NBA Finals the year before that. So now Curry goes out the first 5 games of the year. Now Jordan Poole has to step into that role. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get to develop and play behind Steph Curry and learn the game. No, I got to play this dude's position. And now I'm expected to play higher than what I should be playing right from the beginning. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about this. Don't forget in the 93-94 season, the year after the Bulls won the NBA championship and Jordan retired, Pete Myers plays Jordan's position. They expecting Pete Myers to be Jordan now.
I don't even know
Pete Myers wasn't that good. Right. You don't even know who he is. But they're expecting Pete Myers to be that good. Only except he wasn't. And it kind of screwed up, even though the Bulls was awesome. But stepping into that role when you're not prepared to, kind of like what Jordan Poole was, that's unfair to criticize him like that, especially considering once he got to play behind Steph and play off the bench and play his game, you saw how effective he was. And the fact that, Draymond punched him in the face. I was surprised. And you saw the fact that Draymond punched him in the face, that accelerated the contract. That accelerated the contract extension. Because before that, we got some leverage. This dude punched the dude in the face in practice. And it's on tape. So now every day we got to come in here with everybody else on the outside talking about this, plus my money coming up.
And then if they don't do it, and Chitchat, don't stop right there. If they don't do it, it look like they siding with Draymond. If they don't pay him, and then that's bad because not only do it look like you side with Draymond, you then didn't suspend him any games of the regular season. You let him come right back for ring night. So then, I mean, that further empowers Draymond Green. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Draymond was already ticked off about that money situation and him knowing or thinking that they was going to pay that boy and not pay him. But it ended up.
That's how this whole thing started, Ticket. That's how this whole thing started between him because he was talking about. We know what it was.
Right.
We know exactly what it was.
So it's hey man, it's deep, man. You look at a guy like Draymond Green, man. Look at the Golden State Warriors, man. Like I said before, bro, I think they're gonna realize in about 3 years they made a mistake and they should have kept Jordan Poole because when Steph Curry's gone and you want to keep playing that style of play, now the guy you had picked to keep you in that role, now you have gotten rid of him. You got to watch him blossom somewhere else. You got to watch him grow somewhere else. And sometimes that's a tough pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough pill to swallow.
Damn, big
all right, fellas.
Real quick, Ron. So
yeah.
Me and homegirl been together. She come from the hood. I done raised her. I done cleaned her up. I done got her fresh. But we got into a fight. Now I got to watch her move on with this dude who he ain't really me, but now he treating her a little bit better. And you see how much fresher she is now. I'm like, damn, y'all probably should have held on to her. I probably should have held on to her.
Should have cherished her.
I should have held on to
her. All right, so what's the Jaheim song? Should have put that woman first.
Yeah.
I got a few more players for us. Higher, lower. Jaylen Brown's Supermax contract. The next guy I'm gonna go to is DeMar DeRozan. Higher or lower?
Definitely lower.
Fuck out of here, man.
It might be somebody that cherishes DeMar DeRozan. Somebody might think put DeMar first. You never know.
Ain't nobody putting $300 million on DeMar DeRozan name. Nobody doing that.
And that's you know what though? That's just he's what is he 33 now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's I don't got it. I don't think that's coming. I don't think that's happening.
I don't got it, Big Ops. You gonna have to go talk to somebody else because I ain't got it, yo.
I don't got no money. I'm broke, baby.
All right, fellas, moving along. We got the $1 Million Man, Hey, the beard, the fat suit, the the strip club merchant, James Harden. Yes or no?
Come on, all these guys are old, man.
Yo, somehow by the grace of God, James Harden be the one to pull something like this off. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what he must have some dirt on somebody. He's blackmailing somebody. I don't know what's going on.
He got tape, Big Ox. He got somebody on tape.
Man, he took somebody to one of these clubs, got him drugged up, took some pictures, blackmail, old school blackmail. Something's going on. I don't know.
What does James Harden want, yo? Considering he's played with KD, Russell Westbrook twice, by the way. KD, Russell Westbrook, Joel Embiid. Let's see, who else has he played with?
Chris Paul.
I can't leave that out. Chris Paul. And this dude, Kyrie Irving. What else does he want, yo?
He wants the rock, man. He wants to shoot.
Damn.
He must be smoking rock.
For real, what other star has played with that many stars and not produced and won? What other one?
But
So
Russ.
He played with Kevin Durant, Russ, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul. These are the dudes he played with.
You know what's crazy? Russ, KD, and James, they obviously all started with the Thunder, but they've all had similar kind of in terms of them just bouncing from team to team, playing with star after star after star. Obviously, KD got 2 rings in between there, but that's
what I was saying right there, Ron. I wasn't listing Russ for Chitchat. I was saying when he asked who else has done that, I'm like Russ.
Yeah.
I think Russ might even play with more. He played with Paul George twice. This is the second go around with Paul George.
Kawhi
now he with Kawhi.
He played
LeBron,
with Anthony,
AD,
Bradley Beal,
Bradley Beal, Russ. How about that? Yeah, Russ.
Russ is a bum.
All right, bro. You don't got to.
Well, that's what I was going back to. Like the way the league is now, I think a lot of these players aren't maximized with playing with other volume players. Players like Harden, Russ, LeBron in this kind of league, I think they're maximized. You put them on a roster, you put guys who can shoot the 3-pointer and play defense. Like that. That's going to be the best formula.
All right, y'all. I got a couple more players too. And keep in mind, I'm mentioning these players, and you guys are like, Ron, fuck out of here. Yeah, right. Let's fast forward to 2016. Would any of you guys in your right minds that morning, if I would have told you, if I'd have woke you up, if I'd have shook you out of bed and been like, hey, I have a bold prediction. Mike Conley's going to get the richest contract in NBA history.
I wouldn't try.
You'd have been like, yo, get out my room. Matter of fact, get out my house. Don't, Ron, stop. And what'd you just say, Ox? He's smoking rock. You'd have been like, Ron, come on.
You on that diesel. For real, you on that diesel.
So the next player I'm gonna mention is, I got a couple young guys and a couple old guys. I'm gonna go with OG Anunoby.
Probably not.
Toronto values him a lot, and they might be coming off Pascal too.
This the same OG that's been in a lot of trade talks, just like Jaylen Brown has been in a lot of trade talks, but. Is he the number 2 on that crew? Is he the number 3 on that crew? I mean, who is OG Anunoby on that crew? And on top of that, that Toronto team hasn't been in contention to win the NBA championship. I mean, they ain't make the playoffs last year. So for them to go to $300 million on him after losing Van Fleet, I mean, what are they building up in Toronto? I'd be surprised if they went. I'd be surprised if they went that high on OG. I'd be really surprised.
I think they're more likely to trade him than pay him that much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You agree, Pirate? Trade him and pay him?
Yeah, and I definitely don't think he's getting a Supermax.
All right. Moving along. This dude's old, like as in father time old. He's a lot of you guys' GOAT, but I have to mention him just because it's LeBron James. I have to. And I'm not even going to necessarily say Supermax. I'm not going to say Supermax. I'm just going to say, will he get Jaylen Brown's yearly salary next year during his player option?
Yeah, he could. Maybe like a 1 or 2 year contract.
Rivaling the $52 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, people are going to pay LeBron.
that's true, but
LeBron.
so the first year Jaylen Brown's contract, I think, is like $52 million. James already signed an extension. I think he's under contract till 24. I think he's under contract for 2 more years.
So he has a player option.
Correct.
So he can obviously opt in, which he probably will. But yeah. I'm mentioning him just in terms of if he does hit free agency. A couple of these guys that I'm about to mention, they have player options or team options. I'm just gonna act like they are gonna hit free agency in 2024.
LeBron still is the draw. 100% he is. You know, he's still box office. So I think that matters with him. Now, a team ain't going, 5 years at $300 million, but I could see a 1 or 2 year deal for like, $100 million. I could simply off the strength of him being the draw and him being box office. I could see that because, James is polarizing. People want to see him, whether it in a good way and in a bad way. They want to see him win and they also want to see him lose. So either way, he's box office. So I wouldn't be surprised if a team extended him by that much.
Yeah, I wanted to say like, nah, he's almost done. So, but that game 4 of the Western Conference Finals showed me Bron still got a lot in the tank. So we'll see.
So you guys are saying over, under?
Under. I'm gonna go under, but it's still gonna be a hefty contract.
And I'm talking about on a 1 year basis. Obviously, Bron's not gonna get signed to a 5 year. I'm saying will he exceed that? What you say, 52 million, Chill, in the first year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like Phil said, 2 years, 100 mil, something like that.
Okay. All right, next.
You hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Now go ahead.
You hot?
All right, next guy that I got for you guys is, well, a lot of these new guys go. Paul George.
Ain't nobody. I don't want to disrespect Paul George, but I don't think so. I think he over the hill, Ron. He like 32, 33.
Disrespect. Hold on. How was that disrespect, Bob?
Well, no, I'm not saying that that's disrespect. I'm saying like multiple
injuries. You've had multiple injuries, and the Clippers don't even really want to repay him. So no, hell no.
But I'm not saying that me saying no was disrespecting him. I'm just saying like I don't want to say anything disrespectful, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to.
No, Ron. No. How many more years you think he just turned 33 this year in May? So how many more years you think he got at this level? And mind you, like Ticket just said, he's been breaking down year after year. So how many more years you think he got at this level? 2?
There's only one way possible. If they win the chip and he's a Finals MVP, that's it.
And what did he already tell us? He already told us he ain't a number 1 on the championship team. Did he already tell us that? He already told us that. Yeah. So
yeah, man.
I can't believe Paul George came out and said that.
Hey, if he do it though, he gonna be looking for that bread though.
For sure,
he's gonna be definitely looking, and somebody gonna pay it to him too, Ticket. But I don't think they going Bradley Beal or not Bradley Beal. Jaylen Brown kind of. Nah, I'm going under. Nah.
Hey, y'all do sometimes these cats they try to like put on the humble cloak. They want to be humble and come off just looking soft. Like I don't know. Like I think he was just trying to be humble. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to make it seem like no, I'm a team player. I'm fine with Kawhi being that guy. And it just kind of came off like, Paul, you probably shouldn't have said that. I respect him trying, wanting to be a team player though. I 100% respect that. But he could have kept that to himself though.
Even if you know who you are though, Big Ox. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The next 4 guys are all interesting in their own way, shapes, and forms. Mm-hmm. So the first guy I'm gonna go with is a young guy. He was possibly even the 3rd best player on his team last year, but he has a promising future. In Philadelphia, Tyrese Maxey's a free agent next year. Think possibly if he continues to trend forward, has another breakout season this year. Is it a chance that he may be able to command a supermax like this?
Yeah, because by the time he come along, they'll be paying that. That'll be normal by the time he get deep into his prime. With old boys making now will be normal, man. Especially if titties over titles is out. James Harden. Yeah, I see Maxi's numbers going up. I see his value going up. And I think that, like I said, in 3 or 4 years, anyways, the money's gonna keep going up. Man, them dudes, that's gonna be normal, like star money with Jaylen Brown's making. So yeah, I think he can do it.
That would also mean that if he getting that kind of bread, that would also mean that they've moved on from Tobias Harris, they've moved on from all of them other dudes, and Joel Embiid. They may even have moved on from him too, Ticket, because you're talking like in the next, I don't know, let's say the next 2-3 years. That kind of money we talking about with Tyrese Maxey. I'm a big Tyrese Maxey fan. I think he's awesome. But if you're paying him that kind of bread, that means that what they building in Philly, I think all them other dudes is out.
No, I disagree. I think they better without James Harden and letting Harris have a bigger role. I think that's what needs to happen. I think Tobias Harris needs a bigger role to be able to show everything he can do. Like, for example, we saw Tobias Harris in his best, and he was a 20-8 guy. You know what I'm saying? That was damn good basketball player. We just never got a chance to see him at that level again because Philly kept bringing in other guys that they were prioritizing over him. So how is he?
And why is that though, Ticket? And that's my question.
That was
why
stupidity.
is that?
Why? That was stupidity. Because first of all, you drafted Ben Simmons, so I mean that's you gonna play Ben Simmons. But
right,
they brought in James Harden, and that was the problem, was when they started prioritizing those type of dudes who wasn't at that level no more over him, and stop allowing him to do what he does. I think Tobias Harris can play, man. I think Tobias Harris one of them type of dudes we looking at, like a Aaron Gordon or somebody. He get in the right situation, he'll be the piece that helped them get over the hump, man. I think that cat can play, man.
I won't fight that. I do think he can play.
Yeah, I was a big fan for the Clippers, but
so man, it ain't a lot of dudes. It's not a lot of dudes that can defend all the threes in the fours, shoot the three at a high clip. He's shooting 40 from the three, damn near. Post up and get bucket, hit the mid range and get buckets. Man, ain't too many dudes in the league walking around like that can give you 20 a night. Tobias Harris has proven that. So, and he's proven that for years he can do that. So at this point, he can still give you around 18. You know what I'm saying? As a third guy, man,
fellas,
undervalued, bro.
Let's reel it back in though to Tyrese Maxey. Does anybody believe Tyrese Maxey will go over? I know Ticket said yes. Does anybody else think yes for Tyrese Maxey or no?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Maybe.
He's a really good young player though. I do like Tyrese, and I even said previously, and you know, Low and Mars disagree with me strongly. I was thinking maybe they might want to consider having him be their number one scoring option. Obviously not. I know he's not their best player, but being maybe their number one scoring option. I think that might open up the game a little bit. But he's probably not getting paid like Jaylen. Don't you got to get first team or second team or third team anyway to get that type of contract? Tyrese Maxey ain't about to get no All NBA.
Yeah.
All right, next we have another guy from Toronto who's an NBA champion, Pascal Siakam.
I think that window with Siakam, I don't know how much longer it's open with Siakam, right? Because Siakam is one of them dudes who I think he only been in the league. Yeah, he only been in the league, 7 years, something like that. And he's still relatively a young guy. I think he's 30 years old, right? So he's still relatively a young guy. So if he is going to get paid like that, it's got to be in Toronto. And I don't know what they're doing in Toronto. And I don't know if they're building that unit around him again. I mean, they already did that. So if anything, I think they would move off of him and start over with younger guys. So now I don't see him getting that kind of bread in Toronto or anywhere, because in terms of a Supermax, you got to be on your original crew. And I don't see him getting that kind of bread in Toronto.
I do. And the reason why is because Masai, they tight. Masai look out for his people. So
he does.
And like I said, Masai got to keep. He can't lose all those dudes. And so, like I said before, you already lost Fred VanVleet. I mean, so I mean, he didn't he make the All-Star team this past year? I think.
Not this
I
year.
don't know.
I think it was like I want to say
He
2
made
years ago.
he made an all-star team, and then not only that, he was like what 27 and what 27 and 8 rebounds, something like that. Yeah, man. If
He
he's
did make the All-Star team. He did make the All-Star team this year that just passed. Yes, he did.
he up for hey man, he gonna mess around and get paid, bro. They have to pay him.
He is gonna get paid. He is gonna get paid.
But you gotta pay him, or you're gonna lose him. See, and to me, he better than Jaylen Brown. To me, I don't know what y'all think. I think he better than Jaylen Brown.
And that's he's around he's around that number of guys. Like I think Jaylen Brown a top 20 player in the game. And I think Jaylen Brown and Siakam, I think they're around that like 17, 18, like that between 17 and 20. I think they're around that number. I'm thinking about Pascal Siakam from what he's done in Toronto and what they've done building that unit around him, right? So losing Van Fleet, this team is going the other way. As good as Siakam has been producing, it hasn't really led to anything. So now what you're going to do is you're going to max him out or supermax him and now continue to build around him when you haven't been doing anything since then. So now you're going to add more money to him.
Well,
I can't see Toronto going that far.
They think they can build with him and the other two young boys, him, Scotty Barnes, and then they don't want to trade the other little funky boy.
That's the question that needs. You talking about OG and Scotty Barnes?
Yeah, Funky Boots. Funky Boots the one they need to get off of. OG.
That's the question that needs to be answered, Ticket, because you got the young boy, and OG, and you got the young boy and Scotty, and you got Pascal Siakam. Well, we got three dudes who are essentially the same. And when I mean the same, I don't mean the same game. I don't mean the same in terms of production, but they kind of do the same thing. So with that being said, are we going to stick with Siakam, who's older, or we going to build around the young boys?
I'm keeping
How
Siakam.
much older is Siakam than OG?
I'm keeping Siakam, but no, I'm keeping Siakam and Scotty Barnes. I'm moving off OG. I think OG overhyped. I don't want to pay that dude. Man.
I don't think OG's overhyped, but I agree with you, Ticket. I think OG's the one.
No. He's overhyped because look at what they. Hold on, Bob. Look at what they asking for. Damn right, he's overhyped. Look at the money.
They're just trying to win the trade. That's all. They're just trying to win the trade.
They being unreasonable though. They being unreasonable though, Big Ox. They are. They being unreasonable with this dude. They overvaluing him, and they definitely
OG on the right. OG on the right team puts them over the edge though, like far over the edge. OG's.
I can't disagree with you more, Bob. I cannot disagree.
As a 3-and-D player, Ticket. I was going to leave this alone. You know what I'm saying? But as a 3-and-D player, OG's far more valuable than Tobias Harris.
I totally disagree. Totally disagree. I think he's one of the most overhyped players in the league, and I think that you pay that money to Pascal Siakam, like I said, and then you keep Scotty Barnes, and then you move Funkadelic, and you go forward.
I mean, but like I was saying though, Ticket, I agree with you. I think OG is the one that needs to be moved. Only thing I said, I disagree with the fact that y'all saying he's overvalued or overhyped. I think OG is damn near underrated, but he's the one that should be moved. I think they get in terms of like getting the most back, but still keeping a solid core for them to play with. I think OG's the guy that you move so that whoever you get like can play with Pascal and play with Scotty Barnes, but he still has enough value to where you can get a good player back.
All right, fellas, I got two more players for you guys, and I'm just gonna lump these guys together. Why am I gonna lump these guys together? Because, well, they both equally spend as much time off the court as they do on the court. And this is Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis. Do we see either of these two guys commanding a major contract?
Maybe AD, but not Kawhi. Maybe AD, but not Kawhi.
Yeah, AD, not Kawhi.
I think Leonard gonna be out the league.
Why it's too much.
And somehow Kawhi gonna weasel his way into another contract. I hate to say it, but that fool, as Mookie as that dude Dookie as his goddamn agent, his representative, that fool gonna weasel his way into a contract.
Ticket. Imagine Mookie really being Kawhi's agent though. That'd be crazy.
Oh, listen, Mookie finna get him $100 million a year. Mookie finna make Kawhi Leonard the highest paid, less played game player in NBA history. Mookie gonna sell him like, hey man, look, shit, you say whatever you want to say. My guy, he can play 15 games. He can play 15 games and you'll win a chip with him. I mean, this is Kawhi. He'll sell you. He'll have you really think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mookie getting Kawhi 2.5 a game.
That
2.5
take is
million.
that Mookie take is fluky dookie.
He'll say, man, look, man.
I love the passion.
See, the best thing with Kawhi is you can play. You can play him for missed games too. See, his games, the less games he play, the healthier he gonna be for the playoffs. And don't worry about him getting hurt last year. That's all right. That was Russell Westbrook's fault. That's what he gonna just blame it like everybody else blaming on Russ.
All I gotta say is Fluky Dookie is wild.
Call him
Fluky Dookie is top tier crazy.
That it is classic when Ticket go after him, yo.
All right, Steve, you want to go ahead and throw this list up on the screen, man? It's about time that we get into these most iconic franchises.
Nice.
Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna give you guys the option. You guys want to start from the bottom up, or you want to go from the top down?
I think it's easier from the top down.
Top down, yeah.
All right, top down it is. Yo, chat, y'all know the drill. Drop an order into the chat, and that's what we're going to rock with. In the meantime, while you're doing that, I'm going to read a super chat right quick. Drink More Water says, why does Wade escape the can't shoot label?
Because he can. That's why. Wade didn't score as many points and average as many points as he did because he was just driving to the basket. There's a reason why he lasted as long as he did, because he had to change his game. Bob McAdoo told him, for him falling on the floor, yo, you're not going to last. So he had to put a mid-range game in his game. He had to shoot the three ball. Was he a money three-ball shooter like Klay Thompson or somebody like that? No. Did he have a respectable mid-range game? Yes. So the idea that he can't shoot, I'm sick of hearing that logic. You don't start in the NBA at the championship level at the 2 guard for all of those years and you can't shoot. That's garbage.
And that's that. Cozy Newton dropped a order in the chat. He said, Ox Pirate Ticket Chill.
God damn
That's
it.
not what he said, Ron.
I'm dyslexic, bro.
Ron, don't make me go first round, please.
He said, Ox
The
Pirate
number
Ticket
2
Chill.
pick is the worst. The number 2 pick is the worst pick. It's just going to be whoever the number 1 doesn't pick.
I'll go first. I'll go first for sure. Let me go first.
Yeah. So, Steve, you ready to go ahead and get this order going? Yo, Cozy, I appreciate you for dropping that order on us. Cozy Newton once again said, Ox Pirate Ticket Chill. So, go ahead, Ox. You're first.
Ron,
Take a stab at it, brother.
I can't believe you just did this to me.
Pick them. They're right there.
I'll swallow my pride. First pick of the most storied franchise, the best franchise in NBA history, goes to none other than the Los Angeles.
Say it, Bob. Say it, Bob.
Lakers. It's the Lakers.
Say it, Bob.
Oh, that's
that pains you to say that, doesn't it, Bob? It hurts. It hurts to say that, Big Ox.
I only got it off because Fluent's not here. Fluent wouldn't have been here. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Big Ox. I'm here for you, big fella. I got you.
I'm sorry you had to do that. I'm sorry you had to do that. Maybe further on down the list, like way down there, you'll get a chance to put the Kings up there too. But Pirate, it's on you as of right now.
Obviously the Timberwolves. Obviously the Celtics. Obviously the Celtics. I mean, you know, I agree the Celtics are number 2, Lakers are number 1, simply because a lot of the Celtics rings I have to lower the value because less teams, less rounds to go through equals better chance to win a ring. But
I can appreciate the less rounds. The issue that I'm having is that the less teams means I got to face the tougher competition more. That's what that means.
Yeah, but I mean,
nice.
Now I can understand.
Yeah, I
only
mean,
got to play one round to get to the NBA Finals. Right. I can definitely dig that. But with that being said, I still got to play the better teams way more often than I would have to if there's 25 teams.
Come on with that, bro. Come on, bro, man. News is trash, man. Dude, you playing teams with losing
No,
record.
I just look at it mathematically. If you have a league and all of the talent was evenly spread out, then each team would have an 11% chance to win. Where if there are 30 teams, all the talent
I'm not even
is
trying to be
evenly spread out, you have a 3% chance.
Byron, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, man. I'm just saying, bro, man, dude's trash, man. Listen, bro, the teams he played.
Oh, they weren't trash. No, I'm not taxing them for level of talent at all. I'm simply taxing them for the number of teams.
No, I'm saying the teams he had to play in the first round, or they was playing teams that had a 35 and 37 record, man. Come on, man. You had teams that was games under 5. So that
And
you
with that being
repeatedly
said,
playing.
Ticket, they was also playing teams in the first round that was the second best team in the league.
Right, hold
They
on.
was doing that too.
Hold on, but that don't mean nothing when you got dudes now.
Yes, it does. Especially when I got to do that to get to the NBA Finals. I got to play the second best team to get to the NBA championship. That means that when I'm getting to the NBA Finals.
Hold on one second. So Dirk's ring, he had to go through a gauntlet. None of them dudes ever had to go through what Dirk had to go through to win one ring. Let's think about this. Dirk went to 2 finals. How many championships would Dirk have had, and he only had to play 1 series to get to the finals?
If he had to play, more times than not, if he had to play the second best team to get there, more times than he didn't.
But usually even
come on, Shrill
But
Town.
you still have to play the better teams when there are more rounds, but you also have to play more rounds to even get to the second best team. So I mean, just mathematically speaking, it's much more difficult to win when there are 4 rounds than when there's 1.
Shrill Town.
I'm not going to argue. That part about is much more difficult to win 4 rounds. That part I'm not going to argue. But what I am going to say is when you got teams that I got to beat the best team to get to or the second best team to get to the NBA Finals, or the best team in the regular season to get to the NBA Finals, like they were doing more times than they weren't, I think that does matter. I don't want to diminish that. That's not to say that they weren't playing against teams that had losing records, because the Lakers was playing against teams that had losing records to get to the championship with Magic and with Jabbar. That was going on.
Well, the way I look at it, like, I don't diminish the actual players, like Bill Russell. I don't diminish Bill Russell as a player for having less rounds, but I do have to kind of tax the team of the Celtics for getting 9 rings. That would just be impossible in a 30-team league with 4 rounds.
Fellas, we got to keep it pushing. We got 28 more teams to go. So, Ticket, it's on you as of right now. You got the Lakers first, Celtics second. Who's number 3?
Story franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with the Knicks, even though the Spurs won more. The Knicks are more story. Gotta go with the Knicks. I mean, you asked me story. You didn't say the ones that was winning the most. You just said the
story.
most
That's a fact. That's a
I
fact.
gotta go with the Knicks.
Storied, iconic, historical.
I don't know. Well, I do know why. I'm just saying, but the Knicks are more story than you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give them their props.
Number 3.
I mean, having all these New York fans all the time. Yo, son. Yo, son. Yo, son. Son. Yo, son. The Knicks, son.
Ticket, you ever been to New York, Ticket?
The Knicks is back, son. They back, son.
All right, Chill. It's on you.
Every year we dealing with that Knicks talk, bro. I be sick of them dudes, man.
Number 4,
Spurs,
Chill.
Ron. The Spurs.
Mm-hmm. There you have it. We got the top 5 rounded out so far. Chat, let us know how you feeling about the list so far. Next, it's on you, Ox.
Okay, got Lakers, Celtics, Knicks, Spurs. Man.
Mm-hmm.
We can go. It's only 2 options right here.
What are those 2 options, Big Ox?
That's Chicago and Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Chicago.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I can get it.
The Chicago Bulls.
Come on,
Slide in at 6.
You should really just put Michael Jordan there instead of the Bulls.
No, it would be Scotty and Mike.
Yeah. Okay, Scotty and Mike.
All right, Pirate, it's on you next.
Well, I agree with what Bob just said. I think the 5-6 is between the Bulls and the Warriors. So shout out Rick Barry, shout out Latrell Sprewell, shout out Purvis Short. 7 rings, really only there because of the recent dynasty. It would have been much lower. They have a losing career win percentage, but the fact that they put together one of the best dynasties, they are next. The Warriors.
Yeah, gotta agree with that.
Hold on. Who did he say?
The Warriors.
I said the Warriors.
He said the Warriors?
Yep.
No, he said the Warriors. I'm sorry. He said the Warriors. He said the Warriors.
You a bias?
I know. It really sucks because it makes me sound like a homer, but
which you are, and it's cool
that
you are.
Which
that was the right answer. That was the right answer either way, though, Pirate. Like homer or not, that was the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's right when you go. The Warriors do have behind the Lakers and the Celtics. They have the most rings of any franchise at this point after this dynasty, and they put together one of the best dynasties. So
they've won it. So they've won it what, 5 times? Yeah,
7.
So they won it 4 with Steph, and Rick Barry won.
Now they are a little. I did have to weigh because they're in a unique position where they have championships, but they don't have a good career win percentage. So it's like put another team that's won more often but less rings. But
is that similar to the Bulls too?
Where the other 2 rings came from? Where the other 2 rings come from? The Philadelphia Warriors?
Yeah, I think so. They got one at 56 and one at 47.
Well, Rick Barry.
Right, and 75 with Rick Barry. And
75 with Rick Barry.
All right.
And then 56 and 47.
All right.
Oh, no, and I believe maybe. Okay, I think we might be counting a BAA championship.
Right.
In there.
80 years.
So six NBA.
Okay, that's fair.
6 NBA championships, 1 BAA championship.
Okay.
All right, so Pirate, you just went ticket. It's on you next.
You see that list?
Can we get the list? There we go.
The Detroit Pistons.
Oh, that's a good one. Damn, that's a good call.
Detroit should be over. What you call it? They should be over a lot of those teams. Listen, it's easy to put Mike and them up there, but they have one stretch and that's it. Like outside, and that one stretch was dominant. When you talk about history, I'm talking about teams that's been
tickets. You put the Knicks up there.
Right? No, I'm saying, but they were relevant.
That number, you put the Knicks at number 3, and they're gonna say the Bulls can be there.
But the Knicks, even though the Knicks wasn't winning like that, they still have a more storied franchise all the way through.
Rich history. Real
in the history. I'm talking about like all the way through. Like, and you can say the same about the Detroit Pistons. You know what I'm saying? Like through eras, they've been relevant. Now this era, they ain't really relevant, but they'll come back around.
Just like San Antonio.
The Bulls also had some good runs in the 2010s and with Derrick Rose and whatnot.
But that is true. But that wasn't. That is true, but I didn't see that to the level as the Pistons.
Right.
Like,
No. I slept on the Pistons for sure. Slept on the Pistons. I'm happy you called that.
They had one super high peak, and then they just, you know what I'm saying, they've been down, and in a couple of years it was okay.
And also, I feel like the Pistons get some points for being iconic because they have the Bad Boys, and then they also have the Ben Wallace team. Like they're a team with character. You know, like you think of the Pistons, you think like they have an actual style that is iconic. Like, you know what a Pistons team is.
Yep.
All right, Chill. You got it at number 8. Who are you picking?
The Miami Heat.
Great pick.
They've been in the league since '88. Been in the NBA Finals 8 times, 9 times. I think they've been in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I think it's 9 after this year.
Yeah, won it 4. So yeah, the Miami Heat, story franchise, 100%.
Or no, I think it's only 6 after this year.
So 2006, 11, 12, 13. 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 5. And then 7. They've been in the NBA Finals 7 times. Yeah, 7 times they've been in the NBA Finals and won it 4. Yeah. A lot of great players can't play for the Miami Heat. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Glenn Rice, Lonzo Mourning, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, a lot of great players. Tim Hardaway, Chris Bosh. A lot of great players play for the Miami Heat. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Miami Heat at number 8.
All right, cool. Ox, it is circled back around to you.
Okay. Let me think. I'm damn. I like this. This is fun. Got the Heat. Oh, you know what? Damn. That's a hard one. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and say the Sixers. I'm gonna go ahead with the Sixers right there.
I can get with Philly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the
That's
Sixers.
a good one. That's a good one.
I could get with Philly.
I wanted to go something, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Sixers for sure.
Mm-hmm. I can get with Philly.
All right, Pirate. Next, it's on you at number 10.
Yeah, I just want to say, Ox has stolen my pick every single time. I personally have the Sixers ranked 6th. Yeah, after the Sixers, I feel like it's very close. But I will shout out Sidney Moncrief, Bob Dandridge, one of the greatest teams of all time with Oscar Robinson and Kareem. A lot of great players. Yeah, the Bucks have a ton of my favorite players of all time. They have a career winning percentage and 2 rings, and I'll go the Bucks.
Yeah, okay. I didn't see that one coming. That's a good.
Yeah. The Bucks they got the GOAT, like the greatest player of all time. And then they got the currently the best player in the NBA too. So that makes sense to me.
Okay.
All right, at number 11, Ticket is on you.
Shooting threes like I'm Jaylen Rose in Indiana.
Did we lose Ticket? I think we lost him.
The Pacers, man.
Ticket, if you're not here, I would hate to have to fill in for you.
Y'all can't hear me? The Pacers, dog.
Look, he say he talking, but we can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
The Pacers, bro. The Pacers.
You can hear him?
I can hear him. You can't hear him?
What did he say, Pirate? What did he say?
What did he say, Pirate? Because
Interpret for
what did
him.
he say?
He said
the
Pacers.
Pacers.
Okay.
The Pacers?
The Pacers. All right.
Okay, and what's his reason behind it?
You didn't get one.
Oh, okay.
All
right. The Indiana Pacers.
That's what's up.
Hey, yo, Pirate.
Yeah.
Are you sure he said that,
Yeah.
or are you pirating this pick from him?
Pirate.
Yeah, I got the Pacers. Now
You got the Pacers.
Here, I'll give some reasons for. I'll give some reasons for Ticket. The Pacers,
all right.
extremely undervalued franchise by a lot of kids today. The Pacers probably the only team that you could make a rational argument as a dynasty in the ABA. Shout out Mel Daniels, George McGinnis. So if you count the ABA, the Pacers extremely good team, winning percentage, won a lot of games. The Reggie run, Pacers.
Okay.
Don't forget they also beat the hell out of fans too. So that's legendary.
Yeah.
I can hear you now, Ticket.
Yeah, we can hear you now. And Pirate heard you.
Ice? What's that? I got put on ice? No, I said I'm shooting. Yeah, I said Indiana, man. I'm shooting threes like I'm Jaylen Rose in Indiana.
Word.
The Pacers, baby.
Yep.
All right, Chill. You are next.
Utah.
The Utah Jazz.
20 straight years in the playoffs. Second all-time leading scorer in NBA history. All-time assist leader in NBA history. All-time steals leader in NBA history. Been to the playoffs 20 straight years. 500 games over 500.
I'm not mad at that. But thank you for making it easy for me, Chet.
All right, y'all. So we're only going to do 15 today. So we got 3 more teams, but this should be very interesting. These next 3. Ox.
This is very, very easy for me. I got. I wish we could do a couple more, but shit.
I do too, man.
This is easy though. I got the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets should have been a couple.
That's who I was. It was either Houston or Utah, and I ended up going with. It was either Utah or Houston. I went with Utah because they, for as long as they did it. I mean, I can. I got no problem with
when Pirate took who was it? You just took Pirate? Oh, the Bucks. I thought you were gonna go with Houston. Yeah, I thought you were going with Houston.
I have them back right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pirate. Who's next?
All right. What number are we on?
We're on 14.
All right. So I have this team as number 11. Probably one of my favorite teams back in the day. Shout out Jack Sigma. Shout out Sean Kemp.
They're not even a franchise, bro. They don't even exist.
They're not even a team.
Man, bring the Seattle. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So what? Yes, they are. We put Seattle in.
Hey, Steve, do not put the Thunder. Put
Shout
the
out downtown Freddie Brown.
downtown Freddie Brown, man.
How you gonna say a team that's not in the league? That's cheap.
Steve, if you put them on the list, this list is fraudulent. If you put them on the list,
man, shout out Gary Payton, shout out Dylan Shrimp, hey, shout out Gus Williams, Xavier McDaniel, shout out Jesus Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen, shout out Spencer Haywood, shout out Dennis Johnson.
But I want to put them on. I know
we also
shout out Slick Watts. Hey, shout out Slick Watts.
I know we can't put them in.
It's the franchise. We also Oklahoma City.
Shout out Sean Kemp. Shout out Gary Payton. Shout out downtown Freddie Brown again. Shout out Nate McMillan. Shout out Sam Perkins.
Yeah.
Shout out Vladimir Radmanovich.
Shout out Bill Ellis.
Okay.
What about Vladimir Radmanovich?
Shout out Vladdy.
I'm blowing him out the water. Don't worry. I'm blowing him out the water. You say
What about
Radmanovich.
Xavier McDaniel?
Yeah.
What about the
X-Men?
I shouted out X-Men.
Hey, Radmanovich used to never miss on NBA Live. I used to play with him every day. He would never miss.
I love that team, man. I love the Sonics. Gary Payton.
Hey, shout out Lenny Wilkins. Russell Westbrook. Hey, shout out George Karl.
Shout out Luke Rittenhouse.
Hey, hold on, Ron. I got one that's better than
that. Then what?
What y'all just named?
From the Sonics?
You know, I got a franchise that's better than you. There's more stories.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I'm about to say it right now.
I know that. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, did you put a super in front of that Sonics?
Go Seattle. Who you got, Ticket? Who you got, Ticket?
I got the Denver Nuggets.
Oh,
I'm not mad
not what I thought.
Oh, remember the Kembe Mutombo of this rap?
Yeah, I mean, it's close.
Read my rap.
At least they're actually a team.
Huh? They also had
a team.
They also had
Bobby Jones, Alex English.
Oh yeah. They also had Antonio McDyess throughout their career. Then you had I pushed the Carmelo.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You had him AI for a minute. Then you had J.R. Swish over there with him. Then you come to Big Yoke and Murray, and they win the chip.
Don't leave out Alex English too, Ticket. Don't.
I get a great Alex.
I got
himself.
Yo, Ticket, I gotta put the Kings.
Don't leave out the ABA with Bobby Jones and David Thompson.
Bro, the Nuggets more story than Seattle. Especially with that chip they just won.
No, because Seattle, we also include OKC.
No, I'm saying, but with the chip they just won.
We don't need OKC. We don't
the
need
chip
that.
They just won sealed the deal.
We better without it.
Yo, Ron, the only
they got one of the greatest. They got one of the greatest players. They got one of the greatest players. The guy they got is gonna go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history.
Yo, Ron, the only way this pick is real is if he puts the OKC Thunder. Like he has to put Oklahoma City. He can't. You can't put the You can't put the super.
But that's not
What
the same
about when you?
franchise.
What
Hold on,
about when you guys lose the
that's
Kings
not
and they
the
become
same
a
Call it
franchise?
whatever you
franchise.
want. It's the same
That
That's not
wouldn't
the same
happen.
franchise.
I just
We
prefer calling them
we
Sonics.
care about our team, Ron. We would
Hey,
never
hold
let
on.
our
Let me ask
team
you a
go.
question, Ron. How did KD get moved over to OKC from Seattle? How did that go down?
What do you mean?
Ticket. I don't want to do this right now. Ticket.
No,
I've had a
I'm
hard
asking you.
week.
No. I'm asking you.
Ticket,
I'm
it's been
saying
a hard
I couldn't
week.
remember. That's
Okay.
what I'm asking you.
We ain't had no hard week.
Ticket.
How
My
did
baby
he
mama
get
just
moved
left
from
me.
Seattle to
They
Oklahoma
took my
City?
food stamps.
Yeah, no. I'm saying.
My
Was that
shoes got stolen from the gym
Was that hold
yesterday.
on? Was
Ticket, I
that
don't want to do this
was
right
the
now.
team bought? The team was bought and moved, or did they
Yes.
just trade the? Okay,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it wasn't bought. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, the Seattle Supersonics were stolen from Seattle, and they were moved to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they just
You know, like
Hey,
burglarized.
Ticket. Toast the Go is asking the real questions, Ticket. You keep bringing up championships, and you put the Knicks at number 3.
No, I didn't bring up championships. I said the championship
He
sealed the
said
deal.
storied
I said the
franchise.
championship sealed the deal for their history because if you go back and look through their
For the
history,
Nuggets.
now that they won the championship, that sealed. Hold on, that sealed the deal for me over Seattle.
For the Nuggets. No, okay. So is it fair for me with my next pick, even though I'm not getting one today, with my next pick, is it okay for me to put the Kings?
Well, I mean,
no.
y'all been good for a year now. Like I said, y'all was good with Chris Webber, Bibby Days, Bobby Jackson, all those guys.
And we got that ring back in the day. We had Big O
I
on
don't
our
think
squad.
that, like, when I think about Denver, I still think about more guys. I think about Alice English. I think about Dikembe. I think about just Melo. I think about all those guys. I think about Jokic, Murray, and just throughout the history of the Denver Nuggets, man, they've just had a lot of all-time greats, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, fellas, I got a few super chats to get to, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap all this up.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with none other than, where's my friend at? 8 Gates Lee said, Ox, I understand you don't like Harden, but ain't no way Bill and Booker a better duo for KD.
Just don't believe me, just watch.
Hold all of my chain. Hold all of my ring. Hold all of my watch. Trinidad James.
Just watch.
Do it, Ron. Don't believe me, just watch.
Y'all see. Listen to me.
Kenneth Rutley said, do you guys think KD will be the one to take the back seat?
He should.
No.
He got to be. He's the because to me, he's the best one. I think it's easier for him to play, in the symphony. It's easy for him to play the second fiddle. If he plays second fiddle, he could do second fiddle better than any of those other guys can. So yeah, he should be the one to do it.
Moving along, hot take from Drip Bayless. Bill, Book, and Aiden will be all defense. Is that an actual hot take or is it a cold take?
It's freezing. No. Bradley Beal making an all-league defensive team? No.
Hey,
Hell
Steve,
no,
Steve, can you ice a super chat?
For real. That's freezing cold. Get that shit out of here. Hell no.
Jamal came through with the super chat, said, so Tatum's contract gonna be even more next year? ?
2 years.
Yeah.
That's a good question. It's gonna have to be, right?
It is. They already talked about it. So Jalen's was 305. Isn't Jason's like 320 something or even higher than that? It's crazy.
Them boys about to be.
It's a lot of stinking money.
They finna have a lot of real estate in Boston.
Oh, I know Ja is punching the air right now.
Y'all know the good thing about this, or the crazy part? This could have been James Harden. James Harden turned on the same deal in Brooklyn, the $60 million a year.
He did, didn't he? Did 2 years.
He would have been the first one ever. He'd have been the richest ever. He turned it down. That's a fool, bro.
Well, James already chickened up though. He got so much money, He probably like he's one of the guys. He's one of the guys that can take.
And you never know. You never know with these guys, man.
I don't know what he still has in his bank account. I'm not trying to count his pockets. I'm just saying
these dudes spending $200,000 on honey buns, man.
I'm not. Well, I don't know what they do. Some people do that. And some people do that, and some people don't. So I'm not talking about what he has left. I'm talking about what he signed and endorsement deals and stuff like that too. So you know,
he did sign a $200 million deal with too with Adidas. But Ticket, what did Big tell us? Get everything you can get. Why?
Oh, you know why?
Ain't no guarantee they're gonna love you.
That's a fact. That man spent $200,000 on honey buns, bro. Think about that.
So
they said when he go in the club, he ain't throwing less than 50 racks a night.
Oh, I thought when you was talking about James Harden, I thought you meant like literal honey buns, like the honey buns.
Yeah, me too. I thought you meant like the honey buns.
James Harden after he ain't after no damn honey buns.
I'm talking about in the big countries too.
He literally bought over $100,000 worth of honey buns for little baby. Google it. Google it.
He ate them. That's how he got that fat suit on.
Bro, come on. Do you not see what he's
bought them for him and then ate half of them?
Hold on. He just went off on ESPN because they was cooking him. ESPN put up the picture of him holding trail burgers. Y'all ain't see that?
Did you see that?
The man had 4 trail burgers in there.
And don't think he eat all of them neither, Ticket. He ate a last one of them joints. Don't think he did. He ate a last one of them damn things.
Nah,
don't get me started on James Harden. I'm telling you, I'll go for an hour on James Harden.
He's scared of him.
He 4 trail burgers.
And he ate all of them too.
He did with like something real romantical with one of the chicks in there. You know, he like, you bite this side, I'll bite this side. He was definitely sharing with you know. He was like, hold on, baby, I got all these trill burgers. You want to share one with me?
Burgers. I'm good on James Harden.
Go ahead. Hey, I'm proud of Bun B though. I'm proud of Bun B.
I can't believe James Harden popped in that video and grabbed 4 of them burgers. And did you guys see
all of them, Ron? I'm telling you, he ate a last one of them. And by the way, them 4 that he got, that's in addition to the other ones he already had. Hey, Ticket, don't get me started on this dude. You'll see what you started. Chill.
I want to know this though, Chill. I want to know, was they double trill burgers or was it single trill? Double trill.
This dude showed up in camp in a fat suit.
If they was trill burgers, they had to be thick, Bob.
Because he's from the South, so you know how they eat down here.
Yeah,
bro. I told y'all his name is Chicken. I told y'all that. Real
all
tough.
right, fellas. I got a couple more super chats. What's popping? What's popping?
He got offended when Chris Paul blasted him on that. They said, "Hey, listen." They said they was in the huddle. They said this is when him and Chris Paul started to have beef. Real talk, true story. They was in the huddle. They was in the huddle, and CP3 was saying something. Harden didn't pay attention. They said so. CP3 leaned over and squeezed his titty.
First of all, that's sexual harassment. He need to go.
That's number one, Big Ox.
He need to go. He need to go see HR. He need to go see HR about that.
Right now, before we go any further, I need to talk to Gloria and HR because we need to have a sit down. I got a dude putting his hands on him. I don't like that. No, okay, absolutely not, Big Ox. We're not doing that.
Then he started talking. Then he started cooking him. Then he started talking about his man breast and all kind of stuff. They said James ain't like that. That's when they had beef. Look, Google it. You can go look that up.
Then chill out on the bacon sandwiches. You bake. No, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry. Don't.
He a 12 sandwich eating.
Hey, yo, they said he told him when he came to practice one day. Said, "Man, you forgot to put on your bra."
Yeah, that's nuts.
Hey, okay. Hey, Ron, come on, y'all.
No, he did.
Hey, Ron, he said CP3 was cooking him.
Yo, all right, we got another super chat. We got.
They said he literally Ron. No, Ron, listen. They said he literally brought a bra.
Yo, it's no
wow,
way.
yo.
Pirate, it's no way.
Right now. This is crazy.
Pirate, it's no way.
Yo, Ticket, it's no way. Ticket, it's no way you're not coming to PC weekend, bro.
No. They said CP3 bought the bra and chased him out of the practice facility. He was like, "Hey, you got to put your bra." He was slingshotting. He was slingshotting at him. Oh my god!
I wonder what was the size of the bra. But hey, I'm just going to end this.
36 triple D.
That's crazy.
Dog.
All right, fellas, two more super chats. Then we got to get up out of here. Drink more water. Said I bring up Wade because we all say Westbrook can't shoot, but he's a career 38.2 mid-range shooter versus 38.5 for Wade. Westbrook is a career 30.5 3-point shooter versus Wade 39.3.
L basketball.
Wait, that don't sound right. I mean, neither of them are like shooters. You know, I mean,
I've never considered D Wade a shooter, but you got to close out on him though. You don't have to close out on Russell Westbrook, but you know you had to close out on D Wade though. That's the biggest difference. It's like in the scouting report. You know, coaches like, close out on him. Make sure you get a hand up. You know, break down, move your feet. You know what I'm saying? Send him baseline. We got help over there. When it's Russell Westbrook, they're kind of like soft closeouts. You know, let's bait him into shooting that long ball. That's bait him into shooting that fucking Scud missile. It's a hard hat area, so you know what I'm saying? It's a hard hat area there.
All right, y'all. Last but not least, Vero. Hope I'm saying your name right. Vero said no Dallas, ? A decade of 50+ wins and a championship. I definitely thought Dallas might get up there.
NBA's been around 75 years.
Decade doesn't matter. You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fellas. Well, try not to think too much about what Chris Paul did to James Harden for the rest of the day. And you guys all have a good day. We'll be here at the same time tomorrow and Friday. You know where to find us.
Sir.
The Kings was next up on that list, just to let y'all know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ticket, who you ducking PC weekend? You ducking Chill for all the times you done told him shut the hell up? You ducking Mars?
Mars finna uppercut Ticket as soon as he see him. Mars finna boom. Take that. He go boom. Take that with you.
I'm really ducking Shaq.
Shaq not coming either, so he might be ducking you.
Hold on, so Shaq ain't man. Shaq need to get hit, man.
Y'all both need to get y'all ass up here.
See, now that y'all both know that y'all not coming, y'all both need to just come.
Man, I really wish I could.
I know Ticket getting that money, and I ain't mad at that. I love that. Get that
bro.
bread,
I got
Ticket.
a problem right now. I'm trying to tell you, man.
I gonna sit on him.
I got to figure out how we're gonna replace some of the stuff that's broken, man. Got a couple stoves broke and utensils.
Man, you ain't tearing up shit. Come on, man. Get this dude
Bro,
out of here.
I'm talking about, bro. How you hitting each other with spatulas and stuff, man? Like, come on, bro.